Gerlynn. When I graduated from college, I wanted to do something different. And the program that I had interviewed me, and then they were like, they need math teachers in Texas. How do I feel about going to Texas? Totally thought this place was a country feel, to be honest. That's when the journey began. So growing up was interesting. My dad's goal was to just basically make sure we know God. And a lot of things didn't make sense unless it included God. Does that make sense? And so as much as I hated Texas, and I didn't hate Texas, my comfortability was in New York. And I think I never had time for aloneness, to be by myself and to live by myself here, make it on my own myself, not call my parents about anything, and just realize that I had to depend on me to figure it all out was a hard task. Being that I come from a family of 7, I'm now coming from a huge thing to something super small. One day, I was home in my room and just crying. And crying, and I was just like, okay, why am I I'm crying, and I'm asking myself, why am I crying? I'm like, I don't get it. And it wasn't it was a moment where I just started praying. I'm like, the girl that didn't want to go to church is praying. This is really weird. So I was praying and I was just like, okay, God, I just need you. And then at that very moment, I realized that I need God and I can't live without him. Then I met this young man named Mr. Brookins. And Mr. Brookins was like, you should come to my church. It's pretty dope. I said, your church is pretty dope. So then one day I was like, I'm coming on Sunday. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I give churches 3 chances and then I'm gone. So when I came here, praise and worship started. I came on time. It was 10:40, so I was here for the countdown. Then praise and worship started, and I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but you know when you feel like your spirit is crying? So I was like, oh my God. The worship was super genuine, and it's almost like you can feel the presence of God. Then this guy comes up and he's cracking jokes, and I'm laughing, and then he's preaching. And I think that Pastor Rob secretly knew me in the back of his mind because he was talking about my life, and I was just like, really though? So I was sitting there, I was like, okay, this is good. I came at the end of the Game Changer series, I think it was. I was like, okay, so I'm just going to be a member. Well, not a member, just come. I'm going to be a participant. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come. I kept coming, and I kept enjoying it. And I was never not satisfied every time I came. And Pastor Rob was like, we're going to do a 21-day fast. I was like, I'm going to do this because I want to see a change. I want to see something shift in my life so I can start realizing, well, what's my real purpose here in Texas? Let's start fulfilling it. Let's figure out what it is. Going through half of my first year into my second year, I started liking Texas for a lot of things. I felt like as a person I was growing. As a person I was learning a lot, and I was becoming a different me, but in a good way. I think it was God drawing me out of my busyness, my life around everything, to find who I am. Growing up, I was always identified with something or someone. It was never me. So I think coming to Texas was a way that God pulled me out and show me things and allow for me to grow, allow for me to be a better version of myself. Don't look at loneliness as a negative thing. I used to always tell my friends this, and now I tell myself this. Always find the good in something. And you never know where it's going to take you. When I was in silence, when I was in tears, when I didn't have words, God understood that. And to know that I had that security in God, even when I couldn't put it into words, was mind-blowing. And I think that's what did it for me. then I started saying things differently. I started shifting my perspective. So an advice I would give is to shift your perspective and really trust God and be real, because, and even if we have nothing else to say, God understands that. Even if you are feeling hurt and tears just fall, God understands that as well. And that's where my peace came from, because it was like, he was like, I got you. I got you. And even when it looks ugly, even when it looks bad, even when it looks like, I'm carrying you through, literally carrying you through. And I need you to trust that. And one of my things was I have an issue with trust. So to trust God, I always used to ask myself, how am I doing that? Like, but then I didn't realize coming here and doing certain things and being here and just literally leaving it at his feet was like a form of trust. Like, I'm going to trust you. You got me. And it's faith, hope. It's everything, you know? I understand freedom on a different level than before. You really gotta want it. And I think being in a form of bondage before, I really wanted to be at ease and at peace with a lot of things. And because I wanted that for me, I would hate for someone to feel the same way. So a lot of times I give word of encouragement, speak when the opportunity is presented, and doing things like serving, like being part of the praise and worship team is a form of me showing, like, just a lot of things that they do. I'm still growing, so I'm still like growing and learning and figuring things out, but just wanting it and finding inside of you where it is that you want to be, despite what people say, despite what people think. Because you gotta realize you're doing this for yourself. You gotta take care of me. You gotta take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, then you're able to take care of others.